We're not friends with her anymore. We don't even like her. We don't even know her. We can't believe she said this. They were running articles. She feels used. She feels abused. They claimed to TMZ in one article that she only met Justin once and it was briefly. And essentially she was startled because the meeting was supposed to be over at Blake's apartment.
I think she's horrible and she's made up this whole thing because she tried to steal his movie. But he is the most overly feminized man I've had to endure in recent history. Everything he says is self-flagellating over the fact that he's a man. But he's, to me, is sort of the embodiment of what happens when you totally emasculate a man. And then she continued, she took that stiletto and stuck it in his heart when he was down there self-flagellating, being so sorry for anything having to do with his testosterone.
I told him that I was exhausted, that I haven't given myself time to recover or time to heal. I had an intense year, a lot of material success and a lot of emotional stress. It's very hard on me and my family.
Is Hollywood's favorite power couple on the verge of a scandalous collapse? Or is Tinseltown just fueling another sensational rumor? Whispers of secret tapes, shocking betrayals, and a lawsuit growing more baffling by the day have fans and insiders alike on edge, wondering what explosive revelations might lie just beneath the surface. One thing is certain, this isn't your run-of-the-mill celebrity squabble.
Dropped an entire article in the press announcing that her and Blake are taking a break. They're no longer friends because, shocking, Taylor Swift feels used. She always feels used. And she wants nothing to do with the Justin Baldoni situation. Is she being used, or are people starting to jump into lifeboats because Ryan and Blake's Titanic, the ship that not even God could sink, is sinking? It's going down because God is God, okay?
If even a shred of these rumors proves true, it could rattle the foundations of Hollywood's glossy facade like never before. There's a reason the spotlight is set so intensely on this situation, and it starts with the people at its center. At first glance, Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively don't seem like they'd even occupy the same orbit. Baldoni, once best known for smaller projects and philanthropic pursuits, shot into mainstream attention with a mix of personal branding and a lawsuit that's grabbing every headline. Lively, on the other hand, has built an enduring reputation as the all-American sweetheart, effortlessly gliding from TV fame to big screen success, topped off with a seemingly fairy tale marriage to Ryan Reynolds. Yet here we are, observing a legal battle that many assumed would remain small and contained, just background noise in a sea of bigger Hollywood disputes. But with every passing day, new bits of evidence and rumor keep surfacing, compelling fans and skeptics alike to wonder, what could possibly be so big that two normally cautious stars are risking their public images over it?
Then you run into somebody who seems like a witch who will take advantage of you and hurt you until finally even that kind of a guy rises up. Now, he didn't do it himself exactly. He hired a badass named Brian Friedman, and he has badass women like me defending him. But slowly but surely, I think the male class is learning down on the floor, squirming and apologizing for being a man is not the way.
It started out, or so the story goes, as a dispute over creative differences and alleged breaches of contract. That's hardly unusual in an industry brimming with fragile egos and multi-million-dollar deals. Projects fall apart all the time. Scripts get rewritten, cast members get shuffled, and lawsuits come and go. Typically, such matters either settle quietly out of court or fizzle away without so much as a front-page story. But from the moment Justin Baldoni's name became synonymous with the lawsuit, the rumor mill kicked into overdrive. Why was he going up against someone with the glowing press coverage and industry clout of Blake Lively? And how could Ryan Reynolds, everyone's favorite comedic actor, have missed a fiasco of this magnitude brewing under his own roof, if the whispers of a personal entanglement were true? Questions like these might make anyone assume there's more going on beneath the surface. Speculation only increased when tabloids began hinting at secret depositions, closed-door negotiations, and the possibility that Lively herself was desperate to seal certain evidence. And if any of that is true, it begs a very important question. What exactly is being hidden? By this point, the entire industry was on alert. Studios kept a cautious distance, sponsors started recalculating brand associations, and a swirl of hush-hush rumors suggested that something big was about to drop. And here's a little secret. Those rumors didn't just pop up out of nowhere. They appeared suspiciously in sync with the involvement of a vocal, high-profile figure with a penchant for stirring the pot. But once that pot started to boil, there was no turning down the heat. Many watchers traced the initial spark back to an offhand comment made on social media, a tiny detail about behind-the-scenes friction during a film production.
He filed a lawsuit against the New York Times, which he had Brian Friedman on to discuss, saying it had done a defamatory report on Blake Lively's claims that she was allegedly harassed by this guy when they shot the movie It Ends With Us, a film about domestic violence. In that claim, they said the Times distorted the truth. They did not report text messages which were full and complete, which showed a very different meaning than the snippets that Blake Lively put in her complaint.
Nothing dramatic at first, but it opened the door for more pointed accusations about how the filming process was handled, how cast members were treated, and who really called the shots. At the time, everyone assumed it was purely about a clash of personalities. Blake Lively, known for her involvement in everything from costume decisions to script notes, has a reputation for being hands-on. Some admire her creative input. Others consider it meddling. Justin Baldoni, likewise, has cultivated an image of championing empathy, often speaking out about emotional well-being, vulnerability, and personal growth. An approach that can either be refreshing or polarizing, depending on whom you ask. Slowly, gossip columns started linking the friction on set to a deeper, more personal dimension. Could there have been a secret fling? Was their real chemistry overshadowed by public tension? Eyebrow-raising anecdotes trickled in from supposed insiders who claimed Lively and Baldoni were too comfortable behind the scenes. Photographs from set sometimes showed them laughing together. Hardly scandalous proof by itself, but in Hollywood, stories can be made from the smallest gestures. Then came the real bombshell. The suggestion that some type of recorded material existed, recordings so revealing that if they surfaced, it could devastate public personas. Overnight.
We're not talking War and Peace. And then she wanted to, ixnayed all of the wardrobe choices, because when you're making a movie about a poor woman who's suffering from domestic violence, you want her to look like she has money.
Right.
That Blake said.
That's what she did.
She looks like she has money.
Yep.
And she's dressing in florals. And then she's going on this press tour, pushing her liquor line and her hair care line, because that's what women who are trying to escape with their lives are worried about.
The chatter shifted from creative dispute to something far more salacious. The idea of hidden tapes or compromising material is a time-honored rumor in the entertainment industry. Usually it fizzles out, but this time, the mention of them kept popping up. Speculation soared. Perhaps these tapes were the ultimate leverage in a behind-the-scenes power play. Or maybe they were an unfortunate side effect of a technologically connected world. Moments of carelessness captured by devices or security cameras. Even the possibility that the tapes could be a hoax didn't stop the headlines from multiplying. Social media sleuths began dissecting every interview and every photograph. They flagged suspicious body language or offhand remarks between Lively and Baldoni. They compared press statements from Lively's team to Baldoni's most cryptic social posts, searching for contradictions. Every eye roll, every forced smile in a panel discussion was examined like a clue from a detective novel. And yet, just when it felt like the rumor might die down, a new figure stepped into the ring, and the story took an even sharper turn. If you've paid attention to celebrity controversies over the years, you know that Megyn Kelly's name isn't exactly synonymous with subtlety. She dives into controversies with a kind of bold fearlessness, or some might say ruthless opportunism. Whether you believe she's unearthing the truth or simply fueling a media circus for attention, her commentary has a knack for amplifying any scandal. In this particular saga, Kelly didn't hold back. She lobbed serious insinuations that Blake Lively was fighting tooth and nail to keep explicit material from ever reaching the public. She dropped pointed hints, never fully confirming that she'd seen anything, but strongly implying that she had good reason to believe something embarrassing was behind all these legal maneuvers. For fans of Lively, Kelly's remarks were maddening. Why try to tarnish the squeaky clean image of someone who'd never shown overt signs of scandal before? For fans of Ryan Reynolds, it was equally jarring. Could the wisecracking actor really be ensnared in a situation that might undermine both his marriage and his comedic brand. But for the tabloids, it was like someone had thrown a can of gasoline onto a smoldering fire. Suddenly, the speculation about secret tapes wasn't just fodder for gossip sites, it was news. Kelly's involvement legitimized the chatter in a twisted way.
As I have said from the very beginning, smartest possible move for Justin Baldoni's team to make. I've said depose her. I wasn't sure they were going to do it because Brian Friedman was asked about it by Harvey Levin on TMZ, and he said, well, we don't know. We'll see which way this case goes. And I'm going, what do you mean you don't know? That would be like the very first thing I would do. I would depose Taylor Swift against Blake Lively because first and foremost, no matter how you feel about Taylor Swift, you have to recognize and respect the fact.
If she was willing to talk about it on her platform, then clearly there was something worth digging into. At least that's how millions of people perceived it. And dig they did. Amateur sleuths sprang into action, citing anonymous insider tips or leaked texts, each one purporting to offer proof of a hidden romance between Baldoni and Lively. Some watchers even suggested that Lively's real reason for wanting a closed courtroom went beyond any normal privacy concern. Perhaps these alleged recordings were so scandalous that a single leak could forever tarnish her sweet, approachable Hollywood star image. Kelly then took aim at the entire dynamic in the Lively-Reynolds household, painting Reynolds as a potential victim or a complicit partner in a grand PR sham. That's when the conversation evolved from a rumor about two co-stars to a broader criticism of the way celebrity power couples maintain their glossy facades. Whether Kelly was truly exposing hidden truths or stirring trouble for ratings, her statements prompted countless articles, vlogs, and trending topics. Yet, even this media frenzy was just one piece of the puzzle. The real question became, why would Lively, Reynolds, and Baldoni risk so much if none of this had teeth? Talk to anyone who's been around the block in Hollywood, and they'll tell you. Illusions are part of the job description. Image is currency. Relationship statuses, brand deals, philanthropic causes, personal confessions, everything is curated for maximum effect. Usually, celebrities are masters at controlling their narratives. But if there's one thing they can't control, it's the unexpected leak of compromising material. So what exactly could be on these rumored tapes that has everyone bracing for impact? Depending on which version of the story you believe, it could be anything from intimate personal moments to recorded conversations that prove wrongdoing behind the scenes. Some tabloids speculate the tapes include explicit physical encounters or discussions that reveal hypocrisy in carefully maintained public statements. Others claim the recordings show a pattern of manipulation or betrayal that would shatter the fairy tale illusions around Lively and Reynolds' marriage. Then there's the matter of who recorded them. Did Baldoni keep them for personal leverage, or did an unrelated third party capture something inadvertently? Did Lively or someone on her team inadvertently supply the evidence by texting or emailing sensitive voice notes that later found their way into the wrong hands? At this point, the stories branch out into a web of possibilities, each more dramatic than the last. Legal experts chimed in, pointing out that if any such tapes exist and are relevant to the lawsuit, the court could place them under seal, preventing public release. That alone could explain why Lively's side might be so eager to keep the proceedings private. Nobody wants a meltdown that reveals more than a breach of contract dispute. If a judge decides these recordings are essential to the case, we might never see them, or they could be referenced indirectly, fueling further speculation. For Justin Baldoni, this rumor of holding onto incriminating tapes has transformed his public image almost overnight. Some hail him as the underdog exposing Hollywood hypocrisy. Others label him an opportunist riding a wave of scandal to catapult himself to greater fame. The truth, as usual, may be somewhere in between. But here's where the stakes get even more treacherous. A single rumor might fade, but once you have a polarizing figure like Megyn Kelly amplifying the possibility of genuine incriminating evidence, you enter an entirely different playing field. If you want a masterclass on how rumors can escalate into full-blown cultural events, look no further than the social media reaction. Twitter was the first battleground, with fans, haters, and casual observers all piling on. Conspiracy theories arose in endless threads. Maybe Lively and Reynolds were never truly in love, or maybe Baldoni orchestrated the entire lawsuit to sabotage them. Meanwhile, some corners of TikTok compiled side-by-side evidence of Lively and Baldoni's public appearances, searching for stolen glances or unusual friendliness that could confirm an affair. Memes sprang up, skewering Lively's perfect lifestyle brand. After all, she has a history of presenting herself as the effortlessly elegant entrepreneur, mother, and actress who can do it all. Critics were quick to highlight how an exposed entanglement with Baldoni would undermine that entire persona. Others turned Ryan Reynolds into the butt of the joke, imagining him as the clueless comedic star blindsided by real-life drama. Then there's the question of endorsements and sponsorships. Lively and Reynolds have built a mini empire on their witty banter and couple goals. They've launched companies, be it beverage lines or creative agencies, tied closely to their personal brand. If fans start doubting the authenticity of their relationship, that brand equity could plummet. Sponsors might rethink deals if negative headlines overshadow the product. Even film studios could hesitate before casting them in major roles, worried that the drama might overshadow a movie's promotional efforts. For Baldoni, ironically, this entire mess has made him a household name. People who couldn't have picked him out of a crowd are suddenly speculating about his every move. If the tapes exist and paint him sympathetically, say, as someone who was wronged in a manipulative scenario, he could leave this fiasco with more public support than he ever had before. Conversely, if it's revealed he manipulated events or launched false accusations for publicity, the backlash would be severe. Hollywood's reaction is equally fascinating. Some insiders quietly distance themselves from Lively, worried about being splattered by the scandal if it proves explosive. Others cling to the couple, believing there's no way these beloved, squeaky clean personalities could be harboring such secrets. But the reality is simple. In show business, loyalty often shifts with the headlines. And those headlines keep promising more. Because as serious as the brand fallout might be, the looming legal ramifications cast an even bigger shadow. On the surface, lawsuits in Hollywood are a dime a dozen. Actors sue over contracts, studios sue over rights, and occasionally, co-stars clash over creative credit. But rarely do we see such a rabid appetite for the details of a single case. The real reason this one seems so different is the swirling rumor that the official legal documents could unmask personal secrets as dramatic as any movie script. Attorneys for Lively reportedly pushed for certain records to be sealed. Publicly, they claim it's about protecting sensitive financial or proprietary information. Cynics note that proprietary information could very well be code for anything that damages a star's pristine image. Baldoni's side, meanwhile, has played its cards close to the vest, alternating between calls for honesty and strategic silence. Some close to the situation claim depositions have been intense. Witness lists reportedly include individuals from the set of the film where the friction began, stylists, assistants, and perhaps even a few unexpected names. With depositions come transcripts, and transcripts can become public record unless a judge intervenes. If Lively and Baldoni's alleged personal relationship forms a central pillar of the case, it's entirely possible that salacious details might enter the legal narrative, fueling an even bigger media storm. What about Ryan Reynolds? So far, no official word suggests he's scheduled to testify or provide statements. But if the rumors about any affair are relevant to the legal conflict, especially if it ties into allegations of manipulation or defamation, he might end up giving his side of the story under oath. That possibility alone has onlookers riveted, because who wouldn't want to hear Reynolds break his trademark wisecracks in a courtroom setting? Forced to address something so personal and potentially humiliating, Hollywood might look polished on the outside, but behind those closed doors and sealed records, the real story can be a lot messier. And so we wait, bracing ourselves for what could be the biggest revelation Tinseltown has seen in years, or just another fleeting rumor in the land of make-believe. In the end, the truth might be stranger than any fiction we've imagined here. Until then, watch carefully, question everything, and remember, the bigger the star, the harder the fall can be when secrets come crashing down.